What's good, superstars? Back with another VV video. You got Superstar Joe. You got Superstar Rob in the building. How's it going, Rob?
Pretty good.
Oh man, launching those spicy meatball videos back to back to back to back. Guys, if you're new here, do not forget, become a superstar. Smash the subscribe button down below. Hit the bell notification so you get the most unbiased content in the space, right down the middle. 50% love us, 50% hate us. We're going to talk about that in just a second, but you can also become the superstar VIP $2.99 a month. Hit the join button. Underneath the video, you get entered into the giveaways. Every single month we do giveaways. There's exclusive giveaways for the VIPs. You can win a star in the universe every single month. It's one of our most beloved giveaways. You can also follow us on X, follow us on Instagram, join the Discord. You want to continue the spicy conversation there with us. You can go talk to us there. You can talk to everybody else there about anything in VV that's coming up on any new drops, anything you want to talk about. You can go on the Discord, and it's open and very welcoming for anybody to join.
Yeah, guys, the Discord is where we run all of our gifting programs. Make sure you guys join our Discord. If you use any of our affiliate links, please ensure you let us know so that we can gift you something potentially at the end of the month, depending on the Superstar Utility Program results.
Okay, so Rob, we're in the news today. We're in the news today. Yesterday we did a video. Why don't you pull up that video and we'll start that way.
All right. So yesterday, guys, we did a video. I mean, it was pretty well received, actually. It was called The Most Corrupt Collectibles on VV. Now, you guys should definitely check the video. We gave a few different examples. However, what triggered this video was the discussion that we saw here about the VV logo kind of being used for transactional reasons. And, you know, like this is based on posts on X. You know, we don't have the full story necessarily with the post. We showed it at the end of the video, but we gave other examples where we know it was used for that reason. So we did a video on this, and then, you know, we got a lot of chatter. A lot of people were talking about it, about why, like, you know, why we use the VV logo. And I mean, we think we backed it up, but some people were saying, well, no, like it's for various reasons. They may have had different opinions. That's all good, but it did lead to other things. And it led it. So, Joe, why don't you continue now?
Well, just to back up the video from yesterday, the corruption of the logo had nothing to do with the utility that the logo provides. We believe that the utility is there for that logo, and specifically there for that logo for certain reasons. And we talk about it. You got to go check out the video if you want to learn more. But this has made the news because we made it into a Sergio Collects poll. He did a poll about us. Is the Superstar Money YouTube channel fair towards VV? When I saw this, I was flabbergasted because I think we're right down the middle, but it appears that so does everybody else in the community. 287 votes, and we are split 50-50. And actually, I think it's one vote difference here. And the thing is, if you scroll down, you will see that there is actually an error vote from DB Crypto where you wanted to vote yes and you clicked no by accident. So we actually, it's pretty much exactly 50-50. So I don't know if you can get a more balanced YouTube channel than Superstar Money. So I don't know what the intent here was with the poll, Sergio, but I think you got your answer. And I think that what we've been doing, people like to hear a little bit of the positive, a little bit of the negative, the constructive criticisms, the praises when they do the best drops that they've ever done, things that we love to see the platform do to move forward. And I'm very happy that you did the poll and we got to hear from the VV fam directly, because it looks like we're doing exactly what we want. We're getting, oh, someone just voted. So now we're right at 50-50. If you move over DB Crypto's vote, right? But well, I'm happy that the poll.
Well, it teeter-totters, but it looks like this poll, that's a lot of people to vote. And it kind of grew, like it's a 292 votes. And I think that, I mean, I'm not surprised by this result because we are so balanced, right? We do videos that are positive and we do videos that are negative, but we 100% of the time try to do videos that have some kind of message, that are thought-provoking, and are intended to add value to the viewer, right? We want to make sure we add value to the viewer when we do our videos. So it makes you think and it makes you consider, and we back up everything that we say with as much evidence that we have, right? And I think that if you look at the comments below, there's plenty of people who you know said that, yeah, we're totally fair. But we also saw that some people say that we are biased for reasons that don't even really make sense. It wasn't examples. It was not examples of when we were unfair. It was more like, well, they can't be biased because they have affiliates with other platforms, which have nothing to do with VV. Like this, it's completely untrue that our affiliation with other platforms will all of a sudden make us unfair to VV. It doesn't work that way. We give a very impartial view towards Veve. We have our opinions that we back up and we justify. So, how can we be unfair to them? Like, they're a business. We make commentary, and if we make a statement of opinion, we try to back up the reasons why we have that opinion. You're free to disagree, but how does that make us unfair if we're backing it up? I think it's pretty unfair if somebody says, for example, that we're not compliant in our post and that we don't disclose things properly when we do properly, completely as required. I think that's a statement that's unfair to us because it's a statement without examples. And, they just make the statement and then we have to go and back it up and say, no, it's not true. We don't do those. And they just make statements, for example, that are not backed by any evidence, but at least we give evidence. We said, what is corrupt and why? And we did that.
Yeah, I mean, if you go through the comments on this, there's 18 comments. I think there's 16 or 17 comments that are saying, yeah, they are fair, and they go into detail. Then there's a couple comments that talk about affiliation or whatever, but no real examples. There's never an example. I know that there's other commentary that's happened where there hasn't been examples. Rob, why don't you pull that one up?
Yeah, so this isn't the first time that Sergio's talked about us. I mean, we didn't make a video on it, but a while ago, I'll bring up this post first. We made a video called The Black Eye of the Veve Community. This happened shortly after the Mona interview, where there was one X account in particular. I'm not going to use his name today because he has blocked us and probably at this point does not want to continue any kind of discussion. So I will not use their name. However, we singled that person out because we believe that they were gaslighting, they were manipulating, they were taking things to try to create a false narrative to promote whatever they were trying to promote. You got to watch the video if you want to get the full story. But Sergio did talk about this. He said, I watched the video, and that video did involve, because of the interview that Mona ran between David Yu and Will, which was a Cryptoids and Veve CEO AMA, and people had thoughts on that. He said, I watched the video, and he said he felt like he was watching a paid advertisement for Cryptoids. Again, that is false. That does not happen, right? There's no paid advertisement by Cryptoids. If we do a video on Veve, has nothing to do with them. I can list many things where Cryptoids has fallen severely short of user expectations, but he doesn't, right? But I understand that things don't always work out the way that they plan, so I give them a pass. They need room to make mistakes and make necessary changes as part of running any business, but he didn't give any examples of what those mistakes were. He said the Superstar Money YouTube channel should perhaps consider asking themselves why so many people continue enjoying collecting on Veve and maybe when they'll find the answers they're looking for. After all, there's a reason why Veve is by far the leader in the space and continues to sell out drops on a regular basis, while many of their competitors struggle. We also know that they do not sell out every drop, but he's entitled to his opinion. And so we replied to this and we said, if you actually did watch the video, you would know the topic was directly pointed at misconstruing statements and using pieces of clips to paint a picture that is intended to play up a narrative that is intentionally deceptive. This post by you is a perfect example of that. The video was not an anti-Veve video, nor was it intended to be a paid advertisement for Cryptoids. It was to address a post that specifically was addressed to us. Everything we noted about Mona interview, about roadmap clarity, is factual, and we justified everything we said. Our YouTube channel has many videos, discussions on Veve and why people continue to collect, although we are more focused on the next phase of this space and the importance utility will play. Curious to know what shortfalls are you referring to and what didn't work out as planned. There was no response from him. So this isn't the first time, he's taken one of our videos and made a comment. But since we're talking about, kind of misconstruing things, taking clips, and since the post was specifically about bias, we're going to talk about the most biased Veve content creators around, right?
Well, I mean, it's funny because we're looking at one of them right now. I want to bring one more thing up here because the way that this is worded also is something that is kind of fun. I mean, I've never seen a poll either where you answer it no before yes or whatever. It's just like you're trying to insinuate your answer by putting no before yes. But regardless, where they say, is the Superstar Money YouTube channel fair towards Veve? And I remember that word fair because you brought back a memory. I remember that word fair when Mona was criticized about her interview of David Yu, and they said, were her questions fair towards David? So like, are we going to really go into that and talk about how there's certain questions that cannot be asked of the CEO or of a company that there shouldn't be asked because we don't want to know the real answer? Is that the fairness? Is that what we're talking about? Because on this channel, that's what we like to ask the questions about because we like to know the answers. And maybe other platforms that we cover have the ability to ask direct questions to the CEO and other members of the team, so we don't have those same questions. Maybe that might be why. Maybe there's abilities to have those questions answers on a support website that has status tracking of your question, of any of that stuff. So like maybe that's why we don't have certain questions for other platforms. But the word fair, it gets me, because I remember people saying Mona's questions weren't fair, and I'm like, guys, you don't watch the news. Like I have no idea how you can say it wasn't fair. But regardless, let's talk about fair, and let's talk about some analytics here that might not have been construed in the most fair way. We got this one from Sergio. This is a while back. I think this is in 2023, April. And he puts out a post saying, Veve has more active users than OpenSea, Blur, and Looks Rare combined. And we didn't, and he goes on about it. He says, Veve is absolutely killing the competition. Puts a post up by Giancarlo Show and by Rootless Girl Veve Fox, friend of the channel. Veve Fox is mentioning how there were 10,000 users one week, active users. And then this one here, it's showing 10,000 active wallets on a daily basis. The comparison of facts are not the same. You cannot compare a daily active users to weekly active users and say it's the same thing. I think the misunderstanding of the post might have been the first step, but putting it out there to your followers and giving misinformation is something that is happening with this post. I mean, it was called out directly. Ocean, you're widely misinforming. Caro, why are you comparing daily wallets to active weekly wallets? And Richard coming in to clarify that we're not seeing things here. It's something that you're accusing people of doing, and we've seen accusals of bias from Sergio before in the past of other people, but maybe sometimes you're the one who's putting out some biased content to try and get a reaction, and it might not necessarily only be for analytics. But Rob, do you got anything else on this before we move on?
What was the date just before you move on? That was in
April 2023.
Okay, but there's the theme that continues, right? Like I have, I want to pull this up too, right? Where Sergio has a bias towards, saying certain things when it comes to valuation of the Veve market. So, he tried comparing active users, trying to say, look at all this growth that's coming in Veve. But in reality, he was comparing weekly to daily. So it was definitely something, and he could have made a mistake, but he definitely has a bias towards pushing the Veve market in a positive light. Sellers are up, buyers are up, minters are up, active wallets are up, and even gem purchases are up 80%. Everything's up. Now, during this time period, June 2023, there was a lot of discussion about, like with cash out and things that are happening. But I mean, we knew during that time, when you looked at the long-term trends, when you looked at how nothing really changed, how the things were changed on the app, that this was unlikely. If it was true for that day or that week, it was unlikely to be sustained here now in 2024, right? Because there were no meaningful changes. So, there is everything is up, an emphasis to talk about valuation going up. So Sergio definitely has incentive. I mean, I know he's a master collector, but he definitely does have incentive. Just how people accuse us of having some kind of incentive because we have ambassadorships with other companies, which have nothing to do with Veve. He has real skin in the game, being a master collector on Veve, who will benefit from price appreciation. So it's just a little bit different. But
he's not the only one. There's been lots of people who have tried to shine light on certain things to make things seem better than they were, and that's something we didn't do for our Veve content on this channel. We just don't do that. We make sure that we call a spade, and when we don't have answers, we ask the questions. When we don't have answers, we ask the questions. All right, so that's something we got to remember here. I'm gonna bring this back up just to give you active poll updates. We are becoming more and more unfair towards Veve, Rob. You can't see it. Another vote came in. We are more and more unfair towards Veve. So I wanted to bring that up. But regardless, all right, you mentioned it there. Maybe there is some bias on Sergio's side when it comes to Veve directly. I mean, maybe he has some skin in the game that he has to try and get a hold of. One thing that we are not accused of being unfair of is pumping and dumping collectibles. We've never been accused of that. Nobody's ever accused us of that. And to be honest, me and Rob have never cashed out one penny off of Veve. We've never sold into cash. And we have zero accusations of pumping and dumping. Sergio, we can't say the same. Giant size X-Men #1. You did a post on this to defend your position about being a pump and dumper. Longer post. So I think here is the post here where you listed it at 1.3K. And you mentioned that you were talking about it. I think there was a post from Chris. I don't know if I could find it, but he did a TLDR. If not, regardless, the length of it is you're defending your stance that you are a pump and dumper when it comes to collectibles. You like to talk them up without advising the people you're talking about that you own a piece in the game. And at the end of this, you say, everyone should assume that I own whatever I'm talking about. I don't think it works like that. I think that if someone new comes across your post, they're going to think, oh, this is one of 5 of S tier collectibles as ranked by Sleeping Comics on the app. It's very prized. People should want this. People should want to buy this. And then meanwhile, you have one listed in the marketplace. Really bad visual, very bad optics, and that's why you got accused of it. I mean, it doesn't matter how many words you write here. The actions speak louder than the words.
Yeah, Joe, can you go down? I think there's if you scroll down here, is there a photo that comes with this or no?
Yep.
Yeah, so there's the photo right here. And I mean, this is something that there's just a common theme. I mean, it wasn't just here too, like also because on McFarland, for example, we know he was like a top 2 ranked wallet. He's been accused of being biased, right? So he made a post talking about how MCP program is being put to shame by McFarland. Now, he is a master collector on Veve, right? So he has a right to say what he wants about if he wants to criticize Veve MCP program. Yes, he's a master collector there. But he's built this reputation where people are saying, well, you can't say that because we haven't seen integration of Veve MCP program yet. And says here, it's coming a little bit biased point of view from you, seeing as you're not ranked as number 2. So when you have a lot of skin in the game, people are going to automatically assume that you're biased, right? And it wasn't just on Veve, it's McFarland as well, where this came up. Speaking of bias.
Yeah, I mean, we can keep going. There's a billion examples, it seems like, but Skylar has been very actively tracking the pump and dump situation. And I now own the entire set of No Images Available, which was the Ecomi logo, and also on the floor of those collectibles. We continue on. This one was pretty good. Ultimate Spider-Man #1 Secret Rare has more than doubled in price over the last few hours. And then you can see here the floor is $850. Immediately after posting that, we have $825 undercutting the floor from the $850 to $825. People are going to say, "Oh, you can sell, no problem." Like, but we're not disclosing our position. We're just saying that it's the best thing ever, and then we're undercutting the floor to try and get rid of it. It's a bad look. I mean,
it's a bit of a biased look, to be honest with you, right? It's like if you own the collectible and then you make a post saying how great the collectible is, and then 5 minutes later there's a screenshot of you listing the collectible on the floor. It's almost timed. It's almost timed with the post. Post first, list later.
So this brings me back to why this poll was posted in the first place. This poll was posted in the first place because we did a video, Rob. You have the video there still. We did a video talking about the most corrupt collectible on Veve and how we felt it was the Veve gold and silver logo. And it all started to make sense when we went to go look at the floor of the gold and silver logo. And we saw Sergio right here. So obviously you weren't too happy with the video because you had your skin in the game. And this isn't the first time that we've seen something similar where you try to play one side of it to make something else happen coming into that. I mean, I like the poll. It proved exactly what we thought. Very happy that you did the poll. We retweeted the poll. For anybody else, if you guys want to go vote, you can go vote. It doesn't mean that we're going to start or stop making content. We don't do those types of polls. I know that there's some people who do and then get held accountable for it. But it's just something that it continues to baffle me how people will come out and say that we are biased for asking a question or people are unfair for asking the CEO certain questions when that's just not the case. Like, people just want answers, and any question is a good answer, has a good answer. We have no one blocked. We have the people who are blocked on our Twitter account have under 10 followers who are just made up troll accounts that come on our stuff and post random stuff just to see if we'll bite and they can take a screenshot. But other than that, anyone with more than like 5-10 followers, we have never blocked anybody because we welcome all opinions, and we still welcome your opinion, Sergio, and we still welcome any polls that you wish to run. Just know that if you make a poll, we will definitely make sure that we have our side of the story or our side of the content to talk about, and we can have a nice conversation to make sure that everybody understands the whole story and maybe where the poll's coming from, why the poll was made, and then the context, because context is very important when it comes to this stuff.
Yeah, I think it's important we respond to polls like this. It's not the first time we've responded to Twitter accounts or, there's been times where people have made statements about us and we made videos responding to it. And I think, Sergio, like, we have to respond to that, right? Like, we just want to make sure you ask the question but it was timed right after our video where you had the Veve logo listed on the floor. So perhaps because you have the skin in the game, you felt the need to try to build some kind of, like Superstore money is biased, so you shouldn't listen to their videos. Was that the objective of that poll? You just kept saying, I'm just curious. It was very well timed with right after we did that video. So we think that there's probably more than curiosity on why you put that out, which is fair. I mean, it proved that we're a very balanced channel. That's why it's split down the middle, 50-50, extremely balanced. There's those who think we're fair and those who don't think we're not fair. And the ones who think that we're not fair are the same ones who think that Metamona probably was unfair in her questions to David Yu. Yeah, we're okay with that. It's right. This is why we make videos going both ways, both sides. But our ultimate message is utility is the key for this space long term. And when we talk about numbers going up, we definitely won't think that will come naturally with utility, right? Utility will be the way for the future, and that will be a helpful way. Now, not everyone agrees to that, but what most of our videos are around that messaging, and you can agree with us, you cannot agree with us, but ultimately, we think we are fair. We think we are partial, and everything we do honestly, and we do it because we want to have that conversation and be participants in the space.
We want the space to be better. We want it to move forward. That's it. Everybody who watches every video, and if you watch the actual video, you look at the thumbnail, you listen to the video, they make sense. They're never clickbait. We always talk about the reasoning behind the thumbnail. A lot of people like to click onto the video, leave a comment, and walk away. That's your own problem. If you don't listen to the context, then we're going to call you out about that too, because I did that yesterday for somebody.
And Sergio specifically, he's often accusing others of being biased. But then I wonder sometimes, just from an understanding perspective, he gets called biased a lot too. So maybe it's on his mind, right? Mm-hmm. Like, I'm always being called biased, so I want to now project out there and see, well, this guy's biased, maybe this guy's biased, and I want opinions of how everyone else can be biased, because everyone's accusing me to be biased. So maybe he's coming from that mindset, but we've provided where we believe he has been biased, and we just want to bring that up and respond by saying, if you're gonna run a poll about us both being biased, we want to just show. But
don't go spreading hate on Sergio's posts, all right, guys? Like, just don't go there, don't do that. Like, we're big boys, we can handle it, and we handle it how we do, all right?
This is how we do. So, guys, let us know in the comments below what you guys think about bias in general with content creation. It does not have to be specifically about our feature today, Sergio Collects. It could be about us, or it could be about any other content creator you want. You can let us know in the comments below. If you haven't already, don't forget, become a superstar, smash the subscribe button, join the Superstar fam, hit the bell notification button to get every single video every single day. Also, Superstar VIPs, 200 a month. Star beside your name, access to especially giveaways, guys. Thank you so much. Take care. See you next time.
Love you.
Bye.
Bye.